It's nothing like that. The history of the Latter-day Saints Church really begins in the early 1800s. Joseph Smith, the son of a New England farmer, received a series of divine revelations. According to Smith's account, God the Father and Jesus Christ appeared to him near Palmyra, New York in 1820. They advised him not to join any existing church and to prepare for an important task that lay ahead of him. 3 years later, Joseph Smith was visited by the angel Moroni, who delivered unto him a series of I'm sorry, just a second. What is this? This is supposed to... That is not kind. You just insulted like 1 million people.
Расскажи мне о девушке.
What are you talking... No, come here. No, oh no, you didn't. I'm sorry, as I was saying. The angel Moroni delivered unto Joseph Smith a series of golden plates, upon which was a history of early peoples of the Western Hemisphere, engraved in an ancient language. Smith translated the plates and published them in 1830 under the name The Book of Mormon. On April 6, 1830, Joseph Smith and his associates officially founded the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The church grew rapidly and had over 1,000 members by the end of their first year. Mormon communities were established in Kirtland, Ohio and Independence, Missouri during the 1830s. Smith moved the church headquarters to Kirtland in 1831, and the town became the center of the LDS congregation for over 10 years. It was there he instituted many basic doctrines and organizations that the Latter-day Saints Church still follows to this day. The first Mormon temple was completed in Kirtland in 1836. The late 1830s were definitely years of growth, but serious problems arose at the same time. Disputes among some church members themselves, the collapse of the Mormon Bank in 1837, and conflict with non-Mormon neighbors broke up the Kirtland community. Thus, in 1838, Smith and his loyal followers decided to move to Missouri. Smith and his loyal followers were able to join up with the Mormons already living in Missouri. Unfortunately, trouble followed them. In the fall of 1838, mobs attacked the Mormons in several of their settlements. Feeling the intense pressure from their neighbors, Smith tried to rectify the situation, but instead found himself in prison. Late that same year, Smith was able to escape from prison, and with over 15,000 other Mormons, fled to Illinois. Illinois provided a welcome respite for the Mormons, who were able to settle down and raise their families in relative peace. This changed, however, when they became active participants in politics. When Joseph Smith decided to run for president in 1844, there was much opposition to his candidacy, including by a local newspaper company. When that newspaper company was destroyed under mysterious circumstances, Smith and several of his cohorts were blamed for it. He and his brother Hiram, and several other leaders, were arrested and thrown in jail. It was here that the Mormon prophet breathed his last. On June 27, 1844, a mob attacked the jail. Smith and his brother were shot and killed. Smith's death left a gigantic leadership hole in the Mormon Church. However, another man soon rose and took his place. This man was named Brigham Young. After witnessing the repeated conflict throughout the years, Young finally came to the conclusion that it was time to move west. Young's plan was to move the entire congregation out to the Great Basin in the Rocky Mountains. This plan was put into effect by Young in 1847, and he led an advance party of settlers into the Great Salt Lake Valley. In 1874, Brigham Young and his fellow LDS members established Salt Lake City as their new headquarters. The population grew rapidly, and by 1849, the Mormons had set up a civil government all of their own. By 1850, the Mormons had applied for admission to the Union as the State of the Desert. But instead, Congress created the Territory of Utah and appointed Young as governor. Trouble with non-Mormons began for the umpteenth time in their history. It was falsely reported in Washington, D.C. that the Mormons were rebelling. Anti-Mormon public opinion caused President James Buchanan to replace Young with a non-Mormon governor and to send troops to Utah in 1857. The trouble that followed has been called the Utah War or the Mormon War. The conflict ended in 1858 when Young accepted the new governor and President Buchanan gave full pardon to all involved. Mormon ambition would not be realized until 1896, when Utah was admitted to the Union as the 45th state. Mormons today have won a reputation as a temperate, industrious people who have made their churches monuments to thrift and faith. Much of the Mormon population is centered in the Midwest, with a decent amount of people in Canada and Mexico professing as well.
It matters not the circumstance, we rise above, took a chance.